Okay, we're here at the start of Castle Rock Trail, just off Highway 18. Not going to be going all the way up to the top today, although that is a fantastic journey and hike to undertake. Although short, I will just be going up to where the waterfalls are and hiking along this beautiful creek the whole time. Still flowing very well. Hello. Still just a little bit of ice and snow on the trail, but it sure is nice to have some running water as we hike. All right, we'll take a little bit of a break here and take in this beautiful scenery. So the temperature is about 52 degrees right now, and the low tonight is supposed to be around 39 degrees. We had a little brush of snow a few days ago, and it was only about 2 inches, nothing too exciting. But as my wife and I were driving down the hill, we saw much more than that still up in the trees as we're going away from Big Bear, between Big Bear and Running Springs. And even more surprised when we got past Running Springs how much snow there was up in the trees and on the road. Enough that a plow had to come and take care of the highways right there. My friend down there, one of my friends down there, said they received about 5 inches, which is pretty crazy. Okay, we're getting a little closer. I took my microphone off because you're going to want to hear all this running water. I mean, I can hear it right now. Oh yeah, look at that. I'd say the snow is still melting very well. Although, from what we can see around here, there sure isn't a ton of it, but up higher, there's definitely still some snow to be melted and running off. But for now, look at this. Oh yeah. Let's go to the lower falls first. Gorgeous. And that would be the upper falls. Let's see if we can get closer. there's even more up here. I don't think I've ventured up this high. Because usually it's just the ones down there, but hey, it's really cool up here. Look at this. Wow. All right, well, I think we got our waterfall fixed for the day. Let's head on down to the car, and I want to show you some kind of cool spots that I haven't been to in a better part of a year. But with the lake being up so high, I'm assuming it's going to have quite the show for us, quite the change from when I saw it with 11 less feet of water in the area. I really want to get in the lake and on the paddleboard and go to some spots, some of the coves where you really don't have a ton of water normally in the last few years, but this year is going to change all that. And I tell you, we are doing really good. I have a feeling that things have kind of tapered off. Whew. Got some snow here, dirty snow. I have a feeling things have tapered off. Well, it's evident in the readings as well on the weekly readings that come through. And yeah, we're going from like 9 inches up to more like 5 or 6 inches up from last week into this week. And that's kind of going along with the predictions I had. So if we maybe taper off at about the 5 to 6 inch up per week mark for the next few weeks into June, then yeah, we'll have come up between 5 and 6 feet. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was hoping. That's what I was praying. That's what I was intending. And hey, Mama Nature came through with a big winter. All kinds of water, all kinds of snow, rain, snow, the whole mess. And what a mess it was at times. We had some real issues up here with roads being closed, houses being compromised, businesses being shut down, and there's plenty of businesses in Big Bear that are still reeling from all that shock. And here we are in our slow time, our shoulder season, before things really get busier. But luckily, Memorial Day weekend is just a few weekends away, and that will pick business up here immensely. It's sunny, it's warm, other than that little quick dip into the lower temperatures we had. things are looking quite nice by this weekend and into the future. So yeah, if you're thinking about coming up to Big Bear, come on up. We'd love to have you. It's a great time. It's slower than normal. The weather's still fantastic for hiking, mountain biking, going out on the lake. The lake is open for the most part. I saw a rental boat out there just a little while ago. We've got some amazing wildflowers, amazing wildflower displays all over Big Bear, and that's just getting started. We don't really start to see amazing wildflower coverage until later in this month into June, and then we have some later season wildflowers that go pretty much all summer long. So yeah, I urge you, I plead you, I encourage you to come on up to Big Bear, or at least consider it. Hey, if you haven't been up here and you live in a different country, I understand it. But if you're just down the way, 2 or 3 hours away from Big Bear, you barely got any excuse. Get your behinds up here. It's a great spot, great place to visit. Even for the day, you can drive up in 2 to 3 hours, no biggie. But if you want to stay overnight, there's plenty of accommodations for y'all. Just had to frame myself up here with that amazing cedar tree. That's called a intense. That's called a incense cedar. Isn't it gorgeous? All right, I'm gonna take you down to the lake and we're gonna get some views and talk about what's been going on this past week or so. Figured today was as good of a day as any to come back and look at Boulder Bay a little bit. Our lighting's not the best, but you can really tell all the good water in between what is now an island again. Let's get a little bit more of a close-up view. Look at how much water is in between. And these rocks actually have water in between them again. That's a trip. I don't remember seeing that last time we were out here. Same with that rock there. Look at that. That used to be a peninsula just a few short months ago. And now you wouldn't even be able to jump over it with a running start. That is amazing. Oh, this is Birthday Party Point. This is where I used to have my birthday party in June every once in a while, but wouldn't you know it, the first week in June is usually cold and windy, kind of like how it is today, like mid 40s to low 50s. Not exactly a good time to be out on the water or on the shoreline, but let's just look back. Wow, the water's getting all the way up to the boulders there. So cool. You can just meander around here on a kayak or a paddleboard and just have a blast. And you used to be able to hardly even do that. I mean, that water could come over those rocks to the left, these lower rocks, but then you wouldn't be able to know they were there. So it's good that they're poking out a little bit as not to hit them with a boat. So Boulder Bay, this area in particular, has gone through some pretty cool changes over the years. This used to just be open. It was not a park. There was no giant gazebo pavilion. This was all just rock and dirt, and people used to come out here and park their cars. You could get your car right up to where this fence was, in fact. And like I said, this was before anything was here, before the benches, before the landscaping, before any of this was here. And you could just drive right up. Some of the service providers like plumbers or electricians would take their trucks here and get them into a nice group so they could take a photo for some ad. And a couple of the past year's car shows were having a bunch of photos taken here too, because there's really not any better place you used to be able to get this close to the lake with your car in the foreground. But now here it is, just an empty park. Very nice to look at, but a little too cold and not in season to be enjoyed by hordes of public who love to come out here. They tend to close it in the winter, but yeah, in a typical summer day, spring day, weekends when it's warm, this place is packed. It's a great spot. And apparently the city's working on another park spot like this over between the two bridges on Baker Pond. That will be super cool to see that get changed up and around and be useful as a park area for residents and visitors to come check out. All right, well, let's get back in the truck. Yes, that's right. Brought Buford today, and going to go out to another spot to show you before it gets too dark. Not that many folks have their boats in the docks yet. Everything seems to be a little delayed this year with how much snow there was and how overwhelmed some of the companies were in terms of setting docks, moving docks. Still has a little bit to go. I mean, technically the water could be right up to where that bank is right there. That would be nice. But for now, this is absolutely amazing. When we take the boat out and anchor in this cove, we'll routinely see a bald eagle or two, sometimes a red-tailed hawk. But yeah, it's hard to identify Jackie and Shadow just from them flying overhead. I mean, if they were at their nest, that might be a little bit easier, but just flying overhead, you kind of have to guess. But I like to always think it's either Jackie or Shadow when I do see a bald eagle. So here's another angle of Fisher Cove, more from the start of it. That was a killdeer. Could tell just from its call. Oh wow. This is not narrow anymore. It's well filled in. Let's see where those bushes are right there. Normally that was where the water line was. Fish jumping. So you bet everyone here is just absolutely enthralled that their docks can be so much closer to their beautiful lakefront homes. And beautiful they are. Beautiful and empty. Anyway, I wanted to give you some new information about the lake and also talk about some history really quick. Well, thought I'd pop a little squat on this log here. Nice space to rest and bring you some more lake information with this beautiful 1930s cabin in our background that I've actually done some work at before. A client of mine is the owner, and they've owned it for a number of years, and we've actually done massages right there on the deck before. I'll cut to these little shots of that. That was about a year and a half ago. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to bring you some more information about the lake since everyone seems to love it. It's pretty typical right now for the lake to be tapering off as far as it filling goes. The lake is growing in surface area as it fills, and there's a lot more that has to spread out as it's coming up. So the numbers will, they were 9 inches up 3 weeks ago, 9 inches again 2 weeks ago, and this last week it just came up 5 or 6 inches, which is pretty much indicative of that theory we just discussed. The last time the lake was down in the 6 foot, 11 inch, 7 foot range was early to mid-September 2013. At the start of that same year, the lake was down 4 feet 4 inches down from full, And at the end of that same year, 2013, the lake was down 8 feet 3 inches. Isn't that interesting? It's really cool to see comparisons from year to year, but especially when there's drastic numbers is when it really gets your attention. Kind of like in 2004. Let's compare what we just spoke about, 2013, to 2004, way back when the lake was 17 feet down in late October. Then, miraculously, we ended up getting 2 feet of snow, and that was right in like middle October, right before Halloween. The ski resorts actually opened up for Halloween that year. It was crazy. And then we had 2 more feet of snow in November and 2 more feet of snow in December. And then we had regular rain and snow throughout the season with periods of heavy stuff. But that was an amazing year for snow and lake rise. By the time early May of that next year, the lake was only down 2 feet 8 inches. So at the start in October of 2003, the lake was down 17 feet. By the following year, 2004, in May, early May, it was only down 2 feet 8 inches. That was over 14 feet up, folks. That just still blows my mind. So how does that compare with this past mega winter we just experienced? Well, so far, the lake has come up 10 feet 2 inches as of January 3rd. So that's pretty fantastic. I think we thought we were on track to maybe get into that 14-foot range up in terms of where the lake was in fall, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, but we're super grateful all the same. Coming up 10 feet in just one season after a big winter is fantastic. We'll take it, and I'm sure the lake's going to come up a few more inches, maybe a foot if we're lucky, like sometime in by mid-June, but we'll have to see. It's all dependent on the temperatures, the wind, and how fast the snow melts and where it's going. So please be sure to check back in next week's video. I'll talk more about the lake, give you more tours, and hopefully get out on the lake and show you some cool spots. Pretty impressive amount of snow still here. I ran out of shoreline and had to get up here, but luckily it's holding, not too slippery. Look at this beautiful lodgepole pine right here. Beautiful example. Right next to another lodgepole. Right next to another lodgepole. This is just a bunch of lodgepoles. Well, this one in our middle right now is a white fir, and to the left is a Jeffrey pine. So here we are getting a little bit of a tree tutorial with our lakeshore stroll. Just when I thought I was done with snow for the season. That's the other way you can tell these are lodgepole pines, by how tiny the cones are. But that's a Jeffrey pine cone, much larger. I just drove by a couple of folks who appeared to be Pacific Trail, Crest Trail hikers. Oh, here's a few more. I would bank on them being hikers as well. PCT is what we abbreviate it to. So PCT hikers, those folks I just saw, are here usually in April into May, and the Pacific Crest Trail is a very long trail. What is it, like 2,500 miles long, and runs between Canada and Mexico. And most of the folks who hike it, they either do it in segments or they hike the whole thing. Those are called through hikers. And the folks who mainly do it will start from Mexico and attempt to hike all the way up to Canada, and that usually takes about 3 to 4 months. So as you can imagine, they're not working while they're doing that. Maybe they are, some way or form, Zoom in and being online. But in general, most folks that I've met here in Big Bear who come here to resupply since the trail does run very close to Big Bear. For the most part, it crosses Highway 18 just before Highway 18 goes down the hill to Lucerne Valley. And oftentimes, if you're going up or down, you'll see folks either just getting dropped off to go back on the trail to continue their journey north, or they are hitching it. They've got the thumbs out and they're trying to get a ride into town to get to a post office so they can pick up their supplies that they had already previously mailed to themselves. Need to be, food stuffs, things they would need along the trail, and sometimes even new boots, because as you can imagine, going 2,500 miles of hiking can do a number on your feet and your boots, so people try to keep up on that. But I've worked on many, probably 100 by now, hikers that have come through. I've met folks from Germany, Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, Massachusetts, Florida, Kansas, Oregon, all over the place. Folks come from all over the globe to hike the Pacific Crest Trail. And how cool is it that a tenth of the way up, they arrive to the humble little valley of Big Bear. And some of them choose to come here to have a 0 day, as they call it, where they're hiking 0 miles and just coming into town to rest. And by that, they are eating food that's not cooked on their stove or freeze-dried or granola. They're actually getting some real food. They're getting the chance to resupply in town, and they're usually staying at one of the hostels up here or a hotel that's near to where the restaurants are. But yeah, it's a real cool thing to see so many of them in town during this time of year. It's always kind of like how I'd imagine folks in San Juan Capistrano reference the swallows that come and visit there year to year. You can kind of just set your watch to it. Well, would you look at that? There's Bear Mountain. Can't believe there's still snow up there. Well, actually, I can believe it. It was a big season, so I would expect snow to be up there still. But hey, would you look at all that green grass there? Golf course will be opening up very soon. I think they still have a little bit more work to do. But yeah, that'll be opening up soon. And some great news. The forest roads are open again. Those were closed for undisclosed amount of time. It was supposed to be up until June 30th, but thankfully they opened up as of a few days ago. So that is awesome. We can access the forest via the many dirt roads that run all over. There's still some closures that are seasonal, more for the amount of snow that's still up there and the fact they don't want any damage to be done to the trails. And that's why they were closed in the first place, just to let the Forest Service go in there and assess a little bit more as to what they needed to do. Oh, look at all those daffodils. But yeah, they are open again, so that is a cool thing. If you're an off-roader, you're rejoicing. I know I knew a lot of people who were pretty bummed out about not being able to get up on into their forest spots by bike, by Jeep, by truck, whatever, but luckily everything's open again. Woohoo! Alrighty, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you for tuning back in. And if this is your first time on this channel, thank you very much for checking it out. Hope you liked it. If you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell, all that jazz. Until next time, I'm Daniel. Go with the flow, stay positive, sing like a bird, and I'll see you next time.